I created memes. The person who did it was called like Jehoda, so I mean, I got Yoda. I mean, I just need to put this on. Hello, and in today's video I am going to be giving you advice on how I got an A star in psychology, because obviously it was all down to this hat, wasn't it? So yeah, let's get in with the video. I got an A star at A level and I did AQA psychology. There's a few things that I did which other people didn't do, which I think may have contributed to why I got an A star and no one else did. Well, in my year anyway. It's sixth form psychology is a new discipline as such. You can't do it at GCSE, whereas I know in some schools you can, but it probably wouldn't have helped you much, to be fair. In psychology there are 4 sections for paper 1, 3 sections for paper 2 and 4 for paper 3. Paper 1 you do psychopathology, which is depression, OCD and phobias, attachment, memory and social influence. For paper 2 you do research methods, even though that is in all the papers, it's mainly in paper 2. Research methods, biopsychology and the approaches. For paper 3 you do issues and debates, as like everyone does it, and then there's 3 like sub options where there's like 3 to choose from. We did schizophrenia, relationships and aggression, and now I'm going to do kind of how I revised it. Not gonna lie, I genuinely didn't have time to fully revise paper 3 because I was just so like trying to learn everything else. Psychology is very content heavy. In psychology, most of your marks come from essays, so they have 16 mark essays which are typically split into AO1s and AO3s. AO1s are the facts of the matter, this is what it is, this is the facts of experiments that show that. And then there's AO3s, which is basically just like your strengths and weaknesses. My tips for the essays is to get into a structure. Some people do AO1, AO3, AO1, AO3, but I didn't. I just remembered AO1 like all in one go, just like blurt out the facts, and then AO3, which is strengths and weaknesses, which were quite simple to come up with. For AO3s, if you're struggling to find any, you can use the acronym GRENADE, which stands for gender, so is there any gender bias in any of the research, which there probably is. R is it reductionist? E is are there any ethical issues? N is for the nature versus nurture debate. A is animals. Quite a lot of studies include animals, and then you've got to kind of think, are we actually like animals? Like, can you generalise the findings to like humans as a species? D is deterministic, and E is ethnocentric, which is basically the ethnicity of, is it based off, say, the American idea of superiority, for example. People in China, they might not form attachments in the same way that people in Germany do, for example, which was what was found in Ainsworth's strange situation. Yeah. This is all the cards I did for psychology, and I'm not even going to lie to you, I didn't even do paper 3, I think. I just didn't have time. This definitely isn't all of it, me putting it nicely. So this is equity theory, which is a theory of romantic relationships. And basically how I did it was I'd write out the AO1s and highlight the points in pink, and then we'd get to the AO3s. I wrote my cards up as we went along, but not straight away, because I didn't see the point in kind of doing something twice in one go when I could just do it again a couple of weeks later, and then it would actually like actively be revision. One thing that I did was I created memes. Now this is going to sound so stupid, but in order to help me remember stuff, I used like a trigger word. Like I would be able to like rattle it off because I'd like associate, oh my god, it's like psychology and psychology. I'd like associate the word with the essay. I'm going to have to come up with one that makes sense, because some of them just won't make sense to you, but they make sense to me, so I'm going to have to come up with one that's going to make sense to a lot of people. So this isn't the one I was trying to find, but this is an example. So this is for definitions of abnormality, and it is a failure to function, but the person who did it was called like Jehoda, so I mean, I got Yoda, and then that reminded me. So yeah, they don't really make sense to people, but I got to edit some quite classic memes, so I need to find it because it's so good. I can't have this not being shared. Oh my god, we're nearly there. It must be in this section because this is the same section. Well, we had the Powerpuff Girls for Minority Influence. Where is it, please? Oh my god, it was just so good. It was like quality. Oh my god, I found it. Right. So this one is research into obedience, which is carried out by Milgram, and you do have to kind of remember some of the facts and figures. So basically, Milgram's study was where he tested obedience of just random people, like electrocuting people, just because someone in a white coat would say, you have to do it, kind of thing. The findings were 65% of people like electrocuted someone to 450 volts, which would kill them. We have this amazing high-tech meme that I'm just so good at creating. So there we have it. We have the pressy button meme, which, you know, was like the highlight of my whole 2 years doing psychology. But to me it was worth it because it was kind of almost visualising the content rather than just words. I recommend you can get little flip books of the essay plans. That would be useful. Also, I would say you do exam questions. You kind of get to know how the exam's set out, be more comfortable with the paper, so you're not looking at like, oh my god, what is this? Like, I've never seen this before in my life, because that's just going to freak you out even more. Finally, there is a lot of science. So biopsychology, there's a bit of maths, but it's not too hard. It's literally just like percentages and stuff like that. But the science element, I am not very biological. Like, I don't really understand biology. So there's like synaptic transmission. There's loads of terminology. So basically, I drew the worst and most unscientific diagram you could probably think of. Scientifically, it would be like the electrical, like the going over the synapse and stuff like that. Like, I drew like a bone and then like dots with like arrows into like a puzzle, which is completely irrelevant and completely not what happened. But the fact that I could say, oh, that's the postsynaptic neuron, writing it down, oh, it was perfect science. But in my head, I had no idea what was going on, because I'd just draw my little diagram and I'd have a little story. So I'd be like, oh, the electrical transmissions pop into the little cars, which are the vesicles, and they like drive along the cell or the synapse, and they go really fast, and then they like land. So it was a load of crap. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't perfect, but it got me to understand the science. There's a lot of long words and science stuff like etiologically heterogeneous, adrenocorticotropic hormone. I think diagrams are the way forward. I used to get a whiteboard and just draw, and I'd just scribble whatever I thought, and then I'd go check the actual essay plan. I'd write in a different colour what it was that I didn't include that I needed to. I mean, I think this slide, Moscovici, calling a blue slide, I think it literally just screams talent, really, doesn't it? But anyway, for essays, I simply just, you weren't meant to do this. Like, the clue wasn't read the title and write everything you know about that subject, but that was essentially what I did. I kept it to the essay plans. At the end of the day, in my marks, I wrote and wrote and wrote. I had blisters in the exams because I would just write and write and write. And I found out on results day that even if I had not done a whole 16-marker essay, I would have still got an A*, because that was like how far in it I was. As long as you revise effectively, then I think you shouldn't really have a problem, but I'm not going to lie to you. Paper 3 was just a fluke. It was just nice questions. I was just really lucky with that one. In some ways you can work out, and if they did that essay last year, it's unlikely to come up again. It might come up in like a smaller question. I don't take my word for it, like, don't be suing me when they if they include that one again. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, then comment them down below, because my comments are now enabled. I didn't know where they went before, because to be honest, I've actually got to the point where I just generally don't care. I used to think, oh, I really I'm scared about what people will think, or they might not like it. And now I just don't care at all. If you like this, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, because that's nice. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, but first we're just gonna have to have like a 360 view, because this hat is just beautiful. I'm stuck.